Hey, so today's video is about the history of sexuality. I'm going to give you some brief and interesting facts about different eras through history. I'm going to start with the ancient Greeks and I'm going to move all the way forward to the Victorians. So let's get going. So starting with the ancient Greeks attitudes towards women changed over time. And they had a particular appreciation for the female derriere. That's right, the bottom. They had a great appreciation for the female bum. And therefore, women, to make themselves a bit more desirable to men, actually padded their bottom out to make them appear a bit more shapely. From the Greeks to the Romans, adultery was forbidden for women and actually was punishable by death in the early years and then later changed to banishment and confiscation of their goods. However, adultery for men was absolutely fine. They could bed prostitutes and slaves, no problem. So, there was a bit of a rush on for married women to register themselves as prostitutes in order to get around the weird adultery laws. Moving swiftly forward into the Middle Ages, St. Augustine said, "Remove prostitutes from society and you will pollute all things with lust." And therefore in England stews or private brothels were very popular. They were on the rise, and in 1161 the king at the time, King Henry II, passed, I've got to read this out, his ordinance for the government of the stewholders. He basically established the red light district. Moving to the Tudors, and when sexuality and Tudors come to mind, you've got to think of Henry VIII. Henry VIII passed in 1536 the Buggery Act, which was basically any unnatural sex act, including sodomy and incest. In 1546, Henry ordered the closures of the stews and the houses of prostitution. And in their place, because society's attitudes towards these houses had changed, he wanted houses of correction, a place where these prostitutes could go and become reformed characters. Moving to the Stuarts and the very sexually active King Charles II, on his coronation in 1660, he celebrated by bedding his married mistress, Barbara Villiers. It was also at this time in the early 17th century that Covent Garden was laid out. Covent Garden is still very popular today. At that time, it was popular for fruit and veg markets, for taverns, for bathhouses, and for coffee houses. It was a place where people could talk business and politics, but it was also a place for people to talk gossip and scandal. Moving to the Georgians, and I could have picked a whole host of things for the Georgians. They were very sexually minded, but I decided to pick the bathhouses. The bathhouses from the Middle Ages made a massive comeback at this period. Official services on the bathhouses, including showering, shaving, washing and cupping, which was basically putting heated glass on the skin in order to draw out toxins and to treat common ailments. But in particular, a bathhouse was a place to meet and greet people with very few clothes on. And finally, the Victorians, a place for women to be seen as very respectable characters who were not meant to have any sexual needs or desires whatsoever. And of course, this was a time where there was lots of male doctors and male writing about the body and anatomy and things like that. And men failed to understand the workings of the female body, and some actually seemed to fear it almost. And one very common problem at the time was female hysteria, a symptom of which could be having a headache or a loss of appetite, not being able to sleep, or being a bit short on your breath. And since any ailment could pretty much fit the diagnosis of female hysteria, it's not that surprising that a quarter of women were diagnosed with female hysteria. And the treatment for female hysteria was the doctor rubbing on the female genitals until the woman was relieved, and this required several treatments, which means a lot of money for the doctor. Which is kind of shocking at a time where we think of the Victorian women as very kind of corseted, not just in their body but in their mind too. Definitely when it comes to sexuality, they were definitely restricted. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about the history of sexuality, then you can check out this book. This is History's Naughty Bits. It's by Karen Dolby, and I used this book for this video. I read this in one sitting, very quick. It's a very quick, addictive read. It gives you all the little snippets of information you need to know about different ages. It also comes with some pictures inside as well. It's very fun, it's very entertaining, it's very quick and witty, and it's not too rude at all. It's just packed full of information about the history of sexuality without any of the boring bits chucked in. And I have to be honest, I loved this book so much that it inspired me to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below which fact you found the most interesting. I think I'm going to have a cup of tea and going to sit on the sofa and read a good book. So take care everybody, and I shall see you soon for the next video. Bye!